Hey, how's everyone doing? This is my store where I sell shirts and stickers. You can get there at teespring.com/stores/this world. You can check it out or not. What's going on, fellow apes? Let me set the scene. It's March 23rd. The year is 2020. It's 3 a.m. on a Monday morning. Rain pours outside my window, and the human species is in the midst of a global pandemic caused by coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, or SARS-CoV-2. Confirmed infections worldwide is around 338,000, and the deaths as of right now are just under 15,000. The shelves at the local Walmart are void of toilet paper and non-perishable goods. There's a general feeling of unease in the social climate, and everyone kind of seems to be caught off guard by this whole thing. Non-essential businesses are shut down in my state. Countries all around the world are having their healthcare systems overwhelmed with critical patients caused by this disease, this virus, which causes this disease. It's an interesting time to be a human, to be an ape. The collective situation at hand has gained a sudden and well-warranted urgency and realness, or surrealness. So, what does this mean for us? Well, immediately, it means that a lot of us are stuck inside for an indefinite amount of time. Based on what I've been hearing, it could be weeks to months. A lot of people are without a job. A lot of people are infected with this disease and are experiencing the symptoms of it, and a lot of people are dying. And immediately, in our immediate future, this trend is just going to continue very rapidly. A lot of people are going to die, and I'm not trying to scare anybody or be sensational. This is just the facts of the matter as expressed by experts and people much, much smarter than me. Immediately, the situation is quite grim, it seems. Governments are doing things that they haven't done ever in peacetime, and some are even taking measures that have not even been seen during wartime. We're seeing a lot of very, very disheartening news out of countries like Italy and as of China late. Not a lot has been coming out. I'm not going to say anything about that. It's looking bad for the apes right now. I gotta be honest. I gotta be truthful. The situation looks very grim, and it looks like it will continue to be that way for hopefully not too much longer. But to take all of this, I mean, I won't get into all of that too much. I'm sure we've all been bombarded with news and sad numbers and projections and graphs that just nobody wants to be looking at. What I want to do with this video is give you something to listen to, for one. Just give you something to do while you're stuck at home. And also I want to bring I want to bring my perspective of what this all means for us to the table here. Like I said, immediately it means that our lives are going to be affected in the sense that some of our jobs are going to be taken away from us if we don't opt out of them first. There's potential that you or a loved one will get infected with this disease and need treatment or even die. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but nothing is really. So immediately this means that, well, our life is going to suck here for a good little while. There's really no doubt about that. Life is going to change. At least a little bit. I'll say that. At least some. Our lives will change. But this time of kind of a global reflection, I think is important and is a product of the way we've been conducting ourselves for the past few decades and I guess even century. I can only really, with authority, speak on how things are being handled here in my area, which I'll just say a farming town in Central California. And it looks like, well, our governor has issued a shelter in place. I don't know what you'd call it, not a command. I guess that's what it is, a command. And so everyone's inside for the most part, only going out when they need to. I mean, there's obviously people who don't even believe that this is happening or can't comprehend the ramifications and implications of their actions during something like a global pandemic. And that's to be expected with a group of humans, any. So for now, this means that our lives we're stuck inside, and we have this time to, think and reflect. And that time, for a lot, I'm sure, is being spent, also by me, has been spent worrying pointlessly, just feeling anxious and whatnot about the situation. But I think the theme that is propagating and kind of winning amongst everyone, first at the individual level and slowly will be on the collective level, is a reevaluation of values. With this time amidst a common enemy, a globally common enemy, a common enemy against the species. We're all kind of thrust into a reevaluation of the way we conduct ourselves as individuals, as well as the way we conduct ourselves as a collective. In America, we've kind of had this mindset of trampling forward in a unwarranted and destructive way in the pursuit of the American dream, which ultimately is money. And it's been full steam ahead for the past couple decades of just, we are undefeated. American mindset, fucking work till my fingers fall off, kind of that whole deal. And it works for a little bit. I mean, there are a lot of countries and a lot of people who look up to America, and sure, we're doing plenty of things right. But what this pandemic has done to us has forced us into realizations of all the things that we have not been doing good. And I'm not a politician, and I'm not even well educated, to be honest. And I think that proves my point even more, that someone, just the average Joe, can see all these goofs that we've been tricking ourselves into. For instance, healthcare, and in some cases even housing being tied to occupation. People are finding themselves without jobs in the midst of a global pandemic, and without their job, they have no health care or anywhere to live. So, I mean, that's kind of an obvious whoopsie on our part. The way our president, as he's so called, has placed his values and priorities. For example, if Russia were to send a missile our way, we'd fucking get that thing right out of the sky. But a little virus that kind of tricks our cells into replicating the wrong way, we were caught off guard. We were blindsided by it. And I think with a lot of us sitting at home, and we can choose, to just be absorbed in the news, but that's never really been a good thing to do. With all of us kind of here at home with this time to reflect, I find myself, as well as a lot of people around me, kind of asking, what are we really doing? If the goal is not to be prepared for things like this, or if we are not even aware of the context in which our big game of Monopoly is played, which is nature, what are we doing? If we can be caught off guard as an entire species by something inevitable and something that has been around forever, where is our energy going? What is it really that we've been doing this whole time? It kind of feels like this is one step closer in lifting the collective fog, which, the fog, little droplets get caught on our lenses as we're viewing the world, and all of a sudden, all we see is refraction and reflections, and we don't get a clear picture of reality. This is a collective shaking awake. I see a growing distrust in large federal institutions, and I see a lot more questioning of, why has my whole life been determined by someone who can't even keep my best interest in mind? A few examples of that might be the insider trading that happened with some of the U.S. senators in regards to classified briefings about coronavirus during the same time they were keeping the public calm and basically lying to everyone about the severity of the situation. A bunch of them dumped all their stocks because they knew all this was going to happen, and yet lied to all of us. Which, I mean, to anyone who's kind of been paying attention, this is no surprise. But for those who haven't been, this is a rude awakening. But I think my point is, it's a necessary one. With all this time to reflect, also, not only time to reflect, with all this time away from our usual daily doings of driving our cars back and forth to these pollution-producing factories, the earth and its original inhabitants, the plants and animals, are revitalizing themselves and taking this as an opportunity to take a breath away from the humans' egotistical march forward in a pursuit of utopia with disregard to the context of the game. I'm sure you've all seen the waterways in Italy clearing, and the dolphins are back, and fish, and all this very, very good stuff. But it is a shame that this is what it takes, that it takes something that's going to kill millions of people in order for millions of people to realize that maybe the way we've been doing things is not the only way to do things, and is not the right way, the perfect way, the best way to do things. I think this can go, well, obviously this can go a number of ways, panning out in the near and even far future. Well, far in the context of a human life. It could be an all-out just shit show. I mean, it could, with every healthcare system in the world being overwhelmed, or every country being in lockdown, with a growing distrust for, institutions, and with people losing their jobs and not being able to get their next meal, and not being able to go down the street because of martial law. I mean, it could go many ways. I mean, that's a potential that could be actualized. It could be looting in the streets. It could be riots and burning down buildings, and it could be a shit show. It could be the end of humanity. But so could many things. We could have a solar flare that could just wipe us all the way off, or an asteroid. Or again, to anyone who's been paying attention, none of this is surprising. Maybe it's surreal. It could be a shit show. It could be the end of our social constructs. It could be a complete breakdown of society. Man, it could be like a damn zombie movie. It really could. Or we could all come together. We could all find within us the empathy that we all hold for our fellow man. We could listen to experts. We could help each other in this dire time of need. We could use this time as a well-needed reflection and reevaluation of our game, our endeavors, the silly things we do every day. This could be a complete reawakening of the species. This could be the collective jaguar that drove us into civilization. It could drive us, this could be the beginning of the transcendence of tribalism in humans. It's going to be necessary that countries come together to share their discoveries and findings, and also medical staff and medical personal protective equipment, and and this is what I'm rooting for, this option. It could be another step forward in the story of human history. Of first we transcended the animal. Well, we began the transcendence of the animal, which entitled building houses and you'll farm for me while I'll knit your clothes. That way I don't have to do that and you don't have to do this. And agriculture, you know the whole drill. I mean, we got to this point. It's not like we haven't encountered big issues like in the beginning predators or starvation, or still in some places people face those issues. I mean, it's the human condition. We suffer, and we try to alleviate that suffering by manipulating the material world, or by manipulating the mindset of the ones experiencing the suffering. More likely, though, it's probably going to be a little bit of both. As we've already seen with panic buying in various countries, as well as the grim scenes in places like Italy or Iran or China. It is a little bit of a shit show, and I think that's to be expected with something like this on this scale. But also I've seen, like I said, I don't know if I'm just being psychosomatic, but I feel like there are more birds chirping in the mornings just outside of my window, as there are less cars on the roads, and it'll be a little bit of both, I think, just statistically, crunching the numbers in my head. People will die. People I know may die. People you know may die. You may be infected. I may be infected. But also, this is another huge leap forward for humanity. I mean, we're going to be forced to share our knowledge about the world and about how this thing works with other systems that we would by nature just kind of dismiss as other than us. I mean, when was the last time you followed Italian news before this? As assuming you're not Italian. Probably not very often did you care about what was happening anywhere outside of you, but I think this is another step towards the collective unity that all of us hippies and ones in the know have been talking about this whole time. Like I said, it started as family groups of monkeys roaming the plains looking for food, and one day we were like, you know what, fucking Jimmy and Bob, yeah, I watched them get mauled by a jaguar and there weren't enough of us to take them on, so that kind of sucked. Hey, how about your family and my family come together, and that way when the jaguar attacks we can all team up against it. And so the story goes. I think this might be an analogy that we can make. Is this is the collective jaguar. Everyone is coming together. People with 3D printers are urged to print things like ventilator valves and whatnot, and here in America, private manufacturers are by law now producing ventilators and masks and gloves and whatnot, and everyone's focus is on one thing again, for once. And this could be good for us ultimately, if you're able to step outside of yourself, and how this will just affect you and also are able to recognize the fact that yes, it's tragic, and it gives me a lump in my throat to even imagine all the lives that are going to be lost because of this microscopic thing. But I think it took a number of thumbs smashed before the first real acts, and a number of failed governments before a livable one. And I mean, this is kind of how it goes, right? On a grand scale, I think this is necessary for us, and we'll make it through it as a species. There's no doubt about that. It's what we've been doing forever. It's just a shame that it had to come to something like this. Again, it's something I'm going to keep saying, but if you've been paying attention, you've known that the government's first interest is probably monetary and not your individual life. You've known that we are unaware of the context of these games we play, and we identify ourselves solely with our productivity, whereas we don't even recognize that we are of nature. We are still an animal. We can still be affected by things like this. We're still mortal. We're still infantile in the way we conduct ourselves. This virus is like a burning bonfire of illumination, casting light onto the problems of the way we collectively conduct ourselves, while also scorching the skin of those who come too close. It's duality, right? It's the way things are. It's equally as horrifying and unbelievable and tragic as it is necessary and ultimately beautiful, and a force of awakening, I think it is, to all of us. And I wish I could just, fucking eat 4 grams of shrooms and fly away into hyperspace and tell you guys stories about little elves and dancing robots and elephants, but I feel like I have the platform to make this video, and I just want to offer my articulation of what I see the scenario as right now. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm still here for you guys, and I don't want I'm gonna do my shtick. I've been, the drill. Especially with everything here, I've been focusing on helping my family and being here for everyone I can be here for, and we've been having some issues in some places of our family that right here is not the place to get into it, but I don't ever want you guys to feel like I'm abandoning you, and I want you to know that I never am, even if I go on a hiatus for a month or 2 or 3 or 4. You guys are always in my mind, and I am so grateful and appreciative for each and every one of you, as always. But yeah, I just wanted to ramble for a couple minutes here and just assure you that we all together will get through this, and it will involve loss and pain and tragedy and confusion, but I think we'll also see the beautiful side of humanity, and we already are, in unity and empathy and community. And unsurprisingly, life continues to become more intense as each day passes, and it's a very eerie feeling in the atmosphere, and I think everyone feels it, and everyone kind of, we're all focusing on the same thing, and for once, here we all are, each of us on the world stage to each and every other one of us. Anyway, Yeah, I just wanted to make this video to offer my insight, or lack thereof, and assure you that I personally am doing okay. I did come down with symptoms similar to the virus on the 7th of this month, and by the 13th I went into a local urgent care, and surprisingly for Americans, I actually got tested for COVID-19, and my test came back negative, so that was a huge relief. But I still have some form of a viral pneumonia, so I'm kind of fighting that off, but I'm good. I'm chilling. No one else in my family is sick, so that's a really, really good thing. Yeah, so I just wanted to assure you guys that I'm doing okay. And I wanted to just say what's been on my mind about it lately, and also kind of off topic, since a lot of us, or pretty much the whole world, is stuck inside of their house right now. I do plan on doing some live streams and obviously drawing and whatnot, but if you guys are interested, I might want to set up live streaming on my PC of just like video games, because I've been playing some Minecraft lately, just stuck inside, and I don't know. If you guys don't want to watch that, I get it, because y'alls are subscribed for philosophical shit, not really like GTA heists, but I might do that. Just let me know what you guys think. You know the drill. Check all the stuff in the description, the links, whatever the fuck you want to do. My store, I think, is still up, and I put stickers on there and stuff, so you can support me in that way. But I know that this situation is gonna deem a lot of us in a hard spot financially, so I don't expect it, but it's up still. And yeah, I miss you guys. I want to keep making videos. I feel weird though, kind of diverging away from trip reports and psychedelic diaries, because I know that's what a lot of you guys come here for. But regardless, you know the drill. Do all the shit you do. Click all those buttons and whatever the hell. But most importantly, I appreciate all you guys. I wish you all good health and a clear mind regarding this situation moving forward. It's going to be a long couple weeks and probably couple months for a lot of us, so we're all here, and we're all in this here together, and I think that's the most important thing to remember during all of this. I know it's going to get hard for a lot of us, financially, emotionally, but just keep your eye on the prize, and the prize is helping your fellow man, as it always has been. So love all you guys. Keep on going. Peace out.